So now we have the audiobook out on all platforms. Very exciting. It's a very exciting time. So that's what I want to formally introduce to you. This is the audiobook to the Book of Quint. It is one of the best, in my mind. It is the highest level that we can, it's the highest level that we can take this project on our own here at Amity Point Publishing, here at the Jaws Obsession. This is exciting because, and that is what's leading us to the Watch Jaws Again for the first time 2025 campaign. I always thought that this was going to be marketing material that I was just going to feed over to Universal should they ever make the prequel to Jaws. This is pretty much what the essence of a prequel would be. Now, I understand there's a lot of there might be some apprehension to a prequel to Jaws. And I understand the apprehension, given that the turnout from some of the Hollywood companies lately hasn't been as ideal as we would have liked. But I feel that if you are still not on board with the Book of Quint and the Jaws obsession here, and there's various Jaws sites that have yet to, they're holding back. I know they don't want to acknowledge us sometimes here, but you are in that camp where probably around in the early 70s, and when Francis Ford Coppola and Mario Puzo were going to announce that they were going to do Godfather II, I'm sure there was a section of detractors that said, no, you cannot have a sequel to The Godfather, and no, you cannot have a Robert De Niro playing a young Vito Corleone. That's going to detract from Marlon Brando's performance of The Godfather. Just like we're hearing now, you can't have a prequel to the Jaws because that's going to detract to Robert Shaw's character of Quint, and that's extremely unlikely. In fact, what the Book of Quint, as you will listen in the audiobook, it actually adds to the character, it adds to the performance of Robert Shaw, because it makes his one-liners, his throwaway lines that we might have thought of as throwaway lines before, they actually they have more meaning. They have more impact now after you have a prequel to Jaws called The Book of Quint. So if you listen to this audiobook, then watch Jaws, you will see the movie in a whole different way, with new eyes, with new context, drawing that subtext out. And that is what we are going to say here. So if you ever encounter, if anyone out there, all the supporters of the Jaws obsession, if you're on a Jaws message board and someone says, oh, that's never going to work, that's going to take away from Robert Shaw's performance, you just bring that up and say, well, did Robert De Niro's performance of a young Vito Corleone in the prequel sections of Godfather II, did that take away from Marlon Brando's performance in The Godfather? Absolutely not. It absolutely added to it. That's why Godfather II is considered one of the best sequels ever made. In fact, some people say it's better than the original. I don't believe that myself. However, with Robert De Niro playing a young Vito Corleone, we got that history, we got that context of how they started with the olive oil business and all of that going on, and that added to the mythos. It added to the mystique of The Godfather, of Marlon Brando's performance. So when you go back and rewatch Godfather 1, you're more invigorated. That's why that Godfather 2 is so impactful. Now, is that possible? If they were to do a feature film version of The Book of Quint, would that add to the mystique, that add to the performance, the impact of Robert Shaw's Quint in Jaws? I believe so. And my hope is that you will listen to the audiobook of Quint, and as Jonathan Waters brings Quint back to life here with his excellent portrayal of these characters, that you will actually see you will watch this movie in your mind.